Hi, and welcome to this presentation on the Literacy Toolbox approach to supporting learners in your classroom with reading and developing literacy skills. I'm Julia Clouter, and if you like my presentation, I'm easy to find on Twitter, and you can reach out to me via LinkedIn. My contact details will appear again on the last slide. So welcome to this presentation on the Literacy Toolbox approach to supporting learners in your classroom with reading and developing literacy skills. Here are the learning objectives for this session. The Literacy Toolbox approach learning objectives are: why do you need the Toolbox approach to supporting literacy? How are schools using this strategy, and what's the pedagogy behind this approach? By the end of the seminar, you're going to be super keen to explore the Toolbox webpage that can be found by snapping the QR code in the left-hand corner. It's on the slide just at the bottom there, and if you want to download the free booklet on this approach from Scanning Pen's webpage, you can do, and you might want to explore the tools that I'm going to be talking about, including the C Pen Reader 2 reading pen. You can start a plan for how to create your own literacy toolbox from the tools you already have, or start to make a wish list of things that you could add to the box. And if you're inspired to make up your own box, please get in touch to let me know how you got on and how your students benefited. I would love that. Okay, so what is the Toolbox approach to supporting literacy? Simply put, it's a box full of supporting tools that you make available to every learner. Where would you put it? Well, in a place that's accessible for and by all students. I know that literacy toolboxes have been created and are being used in the following places. So they're being used in learning support rooms, in mainstream classrooms, in alternative provision, and in nurture groups. They're being used successfully across K-12, and that's between the ages of 4 and 16. So what literacy skills does this box support? Well, it supports speech and language, comprehension, development of motor skills, development of concentration, visual support. These are all really great things to be supporting in the classroom. So what tools are in the box? Well, lots of low-tech support and some mid-tech support. That's just stuff that's got a battery. There's no high-tech in the box, so the cost is low. And I think you'll be able to find 70%, 70% of the item in your classroom drawers, in the backs of cupboards, in boxes, or they've been put aside for sorting out. All you need to do is put these resources in one place and make them freely available for use in class for everyone. You might want to purchase some new items for your box, like programmable buttons or reading pens, but it's not going to break the bank. Does it have to be a box? No. Your literacy toolbox approach could be a drawer, a shelf, a bag. It just depends if you want to make it portable. Portable is good when you teach in more than one classroom. We'll look at the things in the box in more detail after we have thought about the pedagogy. So, why do you need the toolbox approach to supporting literacy? Before I dig in to teaching, I want you to think about the things that you do to make a tricky job easier. For example, doing a big shop for the family get-together. You need to remember more than 50 things. How do you remember them? Do you take a photo of the inside of your fridge or cupboard so you know what you already have? Do you ask your family to tell you what's important to them? Do you have a shared list on an app? Do you use a voice recorder and make your list? Do you select pictures of items that you need from a picture bank? Do you take someone with you to help you? Well, you may only need to represent your list in one way, perhaps as a written list. All of the approaches I've suggested are helpful, but you'll naturally choose the one that's easiest for you. As we teach students, we tend to focus on our own preferences for getting a job done because we know it works. So we deliver the learning pathways that mirror the approach that's successful for us. And we may forget there are other ways to get the job done. And we may forget to explicitly teach these other strategies or forget to provide choices. The toolbox approach enables multi-sensory approaches to supporting literacy tasks. It empowers the learner to choose and try strategies. Differentiation by choice is a great strategy when all your students understand what's being offered and know that they can choose. It also increases the opportunities for engagement, which can be really motivating. Knowing that you could choose a tool from the box that may increase your enjoyment of the task. Yeah, enjoyment is a really powerful motivator. So, how do you know that your students need a literacy toolbox approach? Well, observe your students when you provide a reading task and look for signs of reading success and reading stress. What do they look like? Reading stress looks like hidden disengagement, going quietly under the radar or more obviously under the desk. Sometimes it might look like acting out. I had a little boy who would pick his nose and make his nose bleed so he could leave the classroom to get a tissue. Displacement, escape. For some, it might be a slow and painful struggle, or you might see avoidance behaviours. You'll know that that looks very different to enjoyment, enthusiasm, reading with confidence, showing your comprehension and knowledge and your fluency. Here are some factors that are worth considering. This is UK data, but I think you'll find it comparable wherever you're tuning in from. 10% of 15-year-olds have a reading age of 9 and below. 80% of learners with dyslexia will leave school without a diagnosis. To read an exam question fluently, you need to understand 95% of the words. The language gap is growing. 30% of our students can only access 10% of words on a test. 4 in 5 students are unlikely to have the literacy skills to access the curriculum at those transition phases. A huge challenge with older learners is to convince them to use the assistive technologies that will support their learning. Peer pressure and view of self as a learner can be powerful blocks to progress. That's why introducing a toolbox approach at early learning phases and continuing to make these tools available is so powerful. It would be fantastic if learners could just reach for the tool that they needed at any age or stage, because that was the normal and accepted way of working. You can help with that. There are 3 tricks to making this work. Firstly, providing tools, encouraging students to explore them, talking about them, demonstrating what can be achieved with them. And this one's really important, modelling the use of tools as part of your normal way of teaching and demonstrating how they support a task that you're doing is essential. Making the access, the purpose and the benefits explicit underpins this pedagogy. Without your vision, it's just a box of stuff. So let's look at a few great low-tech tools and explore how they can support literacy. And what other low-tech tools might you put in the box? You can think about that while we're doing this. Sticky text highlighter strips. If you have a student who's struggling, you could say, just pop this highlighter strip over the top of the words that are really tricky. And when they come back and you see how many words they've highlighted, you'll know whether that tool is readable, whether that book is readable or not. Magnifiers are great. Sometimes they highlight if a student has a visual difficulty. Coloured overlays to support visual stress. I had a boy who put a coloured overlay on a page and looked at me in astonishment and said, "Miss, the words have stopped wriggling around." He didn't know that the page was supposed to be still because he just saw a fluid movement all the time until he put a coloured overlay. It can really help with that visual stress and help identify a difficulty. Strips that isolate parts of text can really give you the confidence to move on and move on and read a little more and a little more. And again, with motivation, bookmarks where you can pop a sticker. Gosh, everyone loves a sticker. You can put a sticker and what the reading time was. Help some students to really want to grow their reading time. I think at heart, we're all collectors. We all want all of those stickers. So why wouldn't you want to try a little bit harder each time? What other things might you put in that box? I hope you thought of a few more. There are also mid-tech supports for literacy. This just means they've got a battery. So a talking tin or a programmable button. Wow, really fantastic if you want to record a story, a poem, a thought, idea, and you can't write that down fast enough, but you could program it into a programmable button. The white reader pen's a really good tool. It's a text to speech device. You run it over the page and then through the built-in speaker or through personal headphones, it will read the text back for you. It'll also provide a dictionary definition so that you can stay present in the moment of your learning rather than have to ask somebody else or go and grab a dictionary or Google and get distracted. So really helpful for keeping you focused and engaged. MP3 player set of headphones, if you've got a class reader and you can support some of your students to read along or enjoy that reading book by listening, that's a fantastic tool as well. So a good mixture of tools in your literacy toolbox would be ones that support speech and language. Ooh, here's a great little tool. This is called a Tubaloo, and this one's called a whisper phone. They both do the same thing. If you're in a noisy classroom reading to yourself, they will help you to hear your language pronunciation, to be able to hear what you are saying and what you are reading. They're a super helpful tool. Talking tiles we've talked about. Comprehension, high-low readers. If you've not come across high-low readers, here's one. This is from Barrington Stoke. The quality of the paper is lovely. It's a cream colour, really good for supports dyslexic learners because there's no glare on there. And it's high interest, high, low readability, high, low. Word banks, the reader pen I've mentioned. For motor skills, page holders, a thumb grip, pencil grips, all of these things can support motor skills and make that job of writing much easier. Concentration, Tangle toys, fidget toys under the desk, out of the way, but can still be really helpful. And for some students, noise cancelling headphones can really, really help. For visual support, you might want magnifiers, coloured overlays, finger tracking tools, or sticky index tabs. I'm sure you'll have loads more ideas of things that you could put into your toolbox. If you'd like to explore the things that I put into my toolboxes, then navigate to this page where you can get a full list and more information on this strategy. You see the QR code just at the side there? Just pop that and you will get there. So if you want to share this approach and why it's so helpful, these are the benefits that you could explain. So if I was telling another teacher why this was so great, I would say, look, it's going to make the use of these tools normal and it's going to support learning independence. It's going to reduce the stigma for those students who feel spotlighted because they've got a reading difficulty and they don't want to be the only one using a tool to support that reading. If everyone in the class is using the tools, then you're going to feel confident to use what you need. It provides universal support and teacher flexibility because you've already provided the scaffolding to do the jobs which students can choose. And their self-esteem will build because they're going to gain confidence as they work out that jobs can be done quicker, more successfully. Choice is a great tool to develop metacognition. It helps students to understand and have conversations about what worked for them. Can also reveal hidden difficulties about, like the boy I explained who had the words crawling off the page. It can reveal things that you didn't necessarily know. And it's going to empower you to demonstrate and talk about a range of learning strategies. So while you're on the web page, which you can get to via the Scanning Pens website from the UK. You can take a deeper dive by watching the embedded videos that, oh look, there goes 15 minutes. Why on earth did I set that up? Stop. There we go. I know I'm running over time now. Everyone has to use tools to help them, right? So I'll canter to the end. While you're there, you can take a deeper dive by watching the embedded videos that provide training support for every item in the box. It's a free Literacy Toolbox masterclass that you can share with anyone or deliver as part of a CPD session if you wanted to do that. And finally, I was only seconds out. If you decide to create a toolbox or a bunch of toolboxes for your school, just like Alex did here, let me know. I am on a mission to make literacy accessible for all, and I hope that you will join me. I hope this has been an inspirational session for you. Get in touch. Follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter and let me know. Thank you.